Hi, it's Dr. Liz Jenkins here with drlizcoaching.com. And I want to thank you for dropping in. And we're going to talk some more about communication and how we can better communicate, which then makes greater connections and revs up the romance, revs up the friendship and the fun because you guys are both on the same page, talking about the good things and the not so good things. So we're just going to talk about what effective communication is, and that really it is an essential part of any relationship, personal and professional, but it's something that we tend to take for granted. And not all of us maybe grew up in places or had experience or exposure to people who were effective communicators, and that most of the times how we learn to speak and communicate is based on interactions between family members and friends and coworkers and what we saw, observed, and the type of information that we saw them sharing or we're trying to share. And so the impact that strong, effective communication can have on romantic relations is huge. Huge, 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 because there's so many dynamics that exist between couples. There's this vulnerability because we are a we. There's these interactions, there's a reliance, there's an interdependence, and also an independence. But we tend to be underfoot with each other 24/7. And in those consistent interactions, we often assume incorrectly that our often incorrectly, not always, that our communication is clear and they do understand, and they do know what you're meaning to say or what you meant to say or you thought you were saying. And so in that familiarity of having this intimate relationship of couplehood, we often take things for granted. We use shortcuts. We definitely assume they know what we're talking about, and we oftentimes assume that we know what they're talking about. And so even though you are talking on a regular basis, that's yay. That's a huge, huge win. So you guys are talking regularly about day-to-day stuff, big stuff, important stuff. Many people think that they are safe because they are talking on a regular basis. All right. And while you get points, we all get points, please, yes, do keep talking with each other. I want to start emphasizing the right kind of talking that needs to exist between a couple in order to keep the romance, the freshness, the connection on track and accurate, to help identify if there's negative feelings or there's resentments that often build up or develop over time in relationships, and then learn how to unconnect or deconstruct what it is that's going through that's negative, deconstruct the ways that we have been interacting that is having misinformation and hurt feelings and missed opportunities. Okay. So please, please, please continue talking. I want to make sure that everybody realizes talk on a regular basis, but let's talk more effectively. And so today I'm going to drop in and talk about the words and how we use our words. And then next to the weeks, we're going to talk about some other things like it's okay to have a confrontation. It's okay to have a conflict, and how to take action to more effectively move forward with the information you have. But for today, we're going to talk about assumptions. And assumptions is one of the most common and yet worst communication errors that couples make. Why do I say worst? Okay. Because we aren't really checking in on them. We are sort of in an autopilot, which is a normal part of humanness. We like to have shortcuts. And when we're around people over a period of time, we do get comfortable and we do have these kind of ideas about what they're thinking, how they're going to act. We sort of have these predictions, and we work off of those, which I call assumptions. And maybe you've had a little experience like this, is that you think that your partner should know. I hear that a lot, though they should know. And they should know that you're upset because you're showing certain body language, or there's different kind of contextual cues, like you're turning your back to them, or you're quiet, or you're slamming some doors and cupboards, or being really loud in the kitchen, whatever they are, or you're going to bed and turning away from them. And so I hear these folks every single day that say, well, they should know. I went to bed and I just turned my shoulder onto them, even though they were talking, and I went to sleep. Right. Well, it's okay if you want to hang on to your hurt or anger, expecting them to notice and apologize or make some kind of repair or amends. And as you wait and you wait for them, we tend to explode or we shut down. In many, many cases, that spouse, sweetheart, partner, they don't even know that something's wrong. They've done anything wrong. They may think you really are tired. You said you're tired, you're going to sleep. They may be making assumptions based on your behavior. They may, also, as we'll talk about later, want to avoid a conflict. So we've got these two people that are working off of assumptions, and you should know, and I'm waiting, or I'm exploding, and we have a lot of unspoken stuff that needs to get addressed properly. The key here is that no one is a mind reader. And if you're feeling hurt or upset or slighted by something they did or they didn't do, please, please, please speak up. And we're going to talk more about how to speak up. But I want you to learn that sharing with them what is bothering you is critical. Sharing, that's the key thing. Sharing is not blaming. Sharing comes from your heart. It's quiet in a calm moment when you told them, I need to talk to you. Something is really hurting me. It's so hard to talk about this. Or I have something, but I can't talk about it right now. I'm too upset. And so failing to tell your sweetheart, your partner, your spouse, what's bothering you only leads to more resentment on your part and unspoken tension between the two of you. And you know what else? It continues this pattern of assuming and them not getting it and you not giving them the clues, which really means like tell them what's really upset or what happened in that moment that had you feeling that way. Maybe it was your fault. Maybe it was their fault. Maybe it's nobody's fault. But when we fail to interrupt this pattern of assuming and then being resentful or hurt or distancing, and when we continue this pattern of not asking our spouse more, we continue to operate and create these patterns of poor interaction that are very destructive. They erode a relationship, just like rust does on a car. And it's very, very subtle, but it goes to the core of the relationship. And that's where I see these problems. So, and it's a simple fix. Okay. So your takeaways here is, remember, no one's a mind reader. If something's bothering you, don't assume that they know that something's wrong. Pick a quiet time. Let them set it up. Let them know that you need to talk to them about something. Or if you're in that moment and you're feeling calm enough to do it, say, hey, I don't think you realize that, but that just hurt my feelings. I wasn't invited to go with you. Well, and then the conversation comes, oh, well, you never want to go with me when I go out and do this thing. I just figured you didn't want to. And I wanted to be asked. Maybe I do sometimes. So it would make me feel more like a couple if you asked me. And then I can say, thank you so much for the offer, but I don't feel like it right now. Oh, yes, I'd like to. Yes, thank you. Okay. All right. So no one's a mind reader. Don't assume. Let's have good, clear conversations, making sure that when we share, it's not blaming. It really is coming from our heart. It's based on what we are feeling. And we give them the clues. Okay. It's okay. It doesn't mean that the relationship is bad or that they've missed out on something. It means they're not mind readers. They need to know what's going on inside your head. Okay? Inside your heart. So talk to you later. Take care. Bye-bye.